welcome to episode 105 of Drew's Sports Crew here on this Monday night. Look, it seems like I say it like a cliche at this point, but look, it was a wild week of sports. And again, I'm going to start it right off. Congratulations to the Brillion Lions on their second straight, yes, back-to-back state appearances for the Lions in boys basketball. Congratulations to them. Also, congrats again to the Marquette Golden Eagles on getting a bid as the 2 seed there in NCAA March Madness. Also, their women's team got a seed as well, but congrats then to the Wisconsin Badgers on that NIT bid. Sorry, had to say it. The 3 seed, they're playing Bradley. And then we finally have to congratulate the UW-Milwaukee Panthers on a bid in the CBI College Basketball Invitational. Also, the Green Bay Phoenix women's team got a bid in the women's NIT. So there are all the quick shout outs. Again, myself, Drew Skyberg here, Monday Night Sports. A lot of good stuff to talk about here. In this episode, we'll be highlighting high school all-conference teams right away here, getting through those on the girls and boys side. The girls side was dropped last week. Boys side actually came out a few days ago. So it actually ended up being pretty convenient. We'll talk about Brillion's matchup then on Thursday. And we're also going to go backtrack to last week. We'll talk about that crazy game on Saturday at sectional final. We'll talk about what happened at Two Rivers with the Valders Vikings. Unfortunately, I was not able to watch that game. I'll talk about why. A little frustrated with that. But we're going to then move from high school to professional. Not going to do a lot of March Madness preview, but you got to join the March Madness pool if you have not. Contact me at Drew Sports Crew if you are interested, or just at Drew Skyberg, whichever way you want to contact me. I'll make sure you get in that spot. We have over 20 people now. Look, I recommend you join the pool. It's only a $5 entry, so you have still a few more days to join. But otherwise, we got to talk about the Milwaukee Brewers. And that's going to wrap it up after the Bucks Brewers, after the high school talk here. And let's get started here. Let's go through these all-conference teams. We'll start on the girls' side. Those came out again last week. And we had a whopping 4 players named unanimously. So congratulations to the 4 who were unanimous, including a sophomore, Addison Schweely of Sheboygan Falls, gets unanimous all-conference first team as a sophomore. Certainly the front runner for player of the year next year. Allie Kakis, also unanimous. Grace Shizzle, unanimous. Megan Schumann, way to say her last. Player of the year yet again for Schumann. There. And then Emma Edelman was the last first team member. We'll talk about the boys team later. There's actually 6 players named. I'm not sure if there's a tie, but this team is 5. It's 5-5. And then we have 7 honorable mentions. I guess that's pretty standard. Peyton Grenzer, another sophomore, getting second team honors. Claire Zipper of Valders getting, I was a junior second teamer. Adeline Hurl of Chilton, a sophomore second team. Elena Schwan of Brillion, a senior, getting second team. And Julia Beek of Falls, a senior, getting second team. Honorable mentions, you got 7 of them. I'll read you them here. Alyssa Wolfel of New Holstein. Lauren Stengel of Roncalli. Caitlin Fisher of Valders. Hallie Meyer of Kiel, Brooklyn Munns of Kiel, McKenna Dietrich of Brillion, and then Camden Hale, a sophomore from Brillion, rounds that out. So those are your honorable mentions, 7 of them, 2 sophomores, Lauren Stengel, Camden Hale, the rest, again, seniors for that. Player of the year, again, Megan Schumann, the senior from Brillion, went through the final stats and standings report a bit ago, but that's your all-conference team. We're going to wait on all-state. I'll let you know any EWC recognition in the all-district, all-state teams when I get that information. So I'll be waiting on that, but I'll keep you posted on girls. I know we're still waiting on that for boys as well. So we're going to move over to the boys' side, though, talk about what's going on. We'll start with the conference teams. We're going to then go back to last week. We'll talk about those Thursday games. Then we'll talk about Saturday. Then we're going to preview Thursday, this Thursday now. It's a lot, I know, but this is a busy time of year. Look, it's March. I look at the calendar, March 13th. March Madness coming up. A lot of stuff's going on. All right, first team. We had 3 unanimous players first team for the boys, so congrats to these 3. Jeremy Lorenz of Brillion, Pierce Arns of Kiel, and then Cole Hovey of Alders. All 3 unanimous, Pierce Arns being a junior. Then we also for first team, Parker Brown of Brillion, a senior, Grant Munns of Kiel, a junior, Max Miller of Chilton rounds it out, a senior. So we had 6 people on the first team. I talked about this. Not sure. Again, I'm going to guess with voting, but we only had 4 on the second. Second team was Jackson Olson from Valders, a senior, Caden Holly from Brillion, also a senior, then Brady Richards of Two Rivers, and then Grady Geiger of Brillion. Again, Geiger a junior, Richards a senior. Honorable mentions, we only have 5 honorable mentions on the boys' side. Braden Yonda, Roncalli, Wolfie Obringer of Chilton, William Siraki of Valders, Jack Heckman of Kiel, and then Braden April of Kiel. And that goes Yonda of Obringer seniors, Siraki, April, both sophomores, and then Heckman being a junior. Jeremy Lorenz is your player of the year. So we had the player of the year for boys and girls basketball, both from Brillion, Jeremy Lorenz and Megan Schumann. In the games that took place this past week, we'll start with the Valders at Kohler. Again, that was last Thursday. This was a game you certainly liked Valders in. We don't have stats for Kohler, which isn't always good to see because I couldn't watch the game. NFHS was where it was broadcasted, and the whopping the whopping amount they wanted to watch a high school game on their network, no free trial, $11.99 plus fees was what I was offered on the NFHS website. I don't know if anyone else can speak upon that, but yeah, I did not watch the game. I was shocked. I mean, I knew NFHS was a subscription-based service, as many know, but what's impressive was the amount that they're charging for it now, and also B, I thought they had some sort of free trial, like a week free trial, so you can watch a game, cancel. Pretty standard. But wow, they didn't. So thank you, NFHS Network. But I can tell you what we're looking on the stats side. I can tell you the monster game in the stats sheet we saw from Jackson Olson and Cole Hovey. Look, I talked about Jackson in this playoffs. He's played some of the best ball his whole career, right? A whole high school career, and he continued it. He had 22 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and he shot 9 for 13 from the field. And then he had 3 for 4 from the line. So again, 9 for 13 for Olson, 22 points. Cole Hovey then 20 points off 8 for 22 shooting with 15 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks, 1 steal. So I mean, yeah, they played phenomenal in this one. And yeah, Valders actually went with a 6-man rotation in this one, is what I'm seeing from the stats. So that's what we saw. Wilson Rocky had 9 points alongside. Sobel had 6. Trey Schenner had 4. No stats again for Kohler. 65-61 was the final. I did hear, I heard from some people who were either at the game and watching. Valders was up throughout the game. Unfortunately, Kohler came back. And again, they got this 4-point win on Thursday. This game was again at Two Rivers, got moved up because of snow. Just not an ideal situation on Thursday night. That game, so we were wondering if the sectional was going to stay in Whitefish Bay. It stays in Whitefish Bay. Kohler goes to play Kenosha St. Joseph. Kenosha St. Joseph ends up winning. They're going to stay in D4. So that clears up D4. Only one EWC team left. Again, Valders had a phenomenal season, makes a great run in D4, pulls off a wonderful upset against Howard's Grove. So excellent season for Valders. We'll go to Brillion. We'll talk about, again, that game that we witnessed Thursday. That game was again against Campbell Sport at Denmark. Stayed in Denmark, stayed at 7 o'clock too, I believe. They didn't move that one up. And we can talk about kind of how that game went, but really, not Valders. Campbell Sport Brillion ran through it against Campbell Sport. It was a tough game for Campbell Sport against this Brillion squad. Brillion wins by 19 in the sectional semis. They weren't able, I mean, their best players, a guy I mentioned, Mitchell McCarthy, they played well. But, it ended up being just Brillion was too much, offensively. We got to talk about Brillion shooting in the playoffs. In this sectional games combined. They shoot 9 for 20. They shoot 45% in the sectional semis. I'll talk about what they shot in the sectional finals. I mean, their 3-point shooting has been what's made this team, just thrive in the playoffs, right? I mean, we know like 3-point shooting wasn't necessarily like it was a strength of this team, right? But it wasn't necessarily like that thing that puts them over the top, right? It was always that balance, right? And right how they're able to run through Jeremy, right, with Brillion. But I mean, the shooting that this team's had over these last few games has been phenomenal. And that's really what's put this team, at another level. So what we saw, for example, in this Campbell Sport one, again, 9 for 20 from three. Kane Holly, 3 for 4. Parker Brown, 1 for 4. Lucas Mathis, 3 for 5. I mean, Ben Olsen, 2 for 5. I mean, when you're having guys step up from the 3-point arc, that's been huge for this Brillion squad, right? I mean, Jeremy is going to give you his 7 for 9 efficiency that he had in this one, 17 points, 4 blocks, and he gave you that. A double for him. And then just the balance here. Geiger with 11, Mathis with 11, Holly with 13, Brown with 14. I mean, there's just so much depth here for Brillion, too. That's another part that they've had. And that's what got them the win here in Denmark on Thursday over Campbell Sport. We'll go talk now about Saturday. So this game, right? You're going to Oshkosh North. You're like, okay, Xavier, it's close, not necessarily like a far drive for either school, but closer for Xavier, right? But they're coming in. Xavier was 25 and was it 2 coming in. Team that hasn't, again, they're in the Bay Conference. They're 12 and 2. They won the Bay Conference with like schools like West Appear in it. So it was like a good conference. But going through like strength of schedule was the other story. I mean, they had some good wins, right? They beat Oshkosh West. They beat Kelmoraine Lutheran. They also had some losses, though. I mean, they lose to Seymour. They lose to Menasha. Those were the 2 losses. But then they had some like their strength of schedule maybe wasn't the best. They still had some of those decent non-con games, but it was like, okay, they haven't played a team like Brillion all year is kind of where I'm going with that. And we saw that in this one. I'll talk about the stats. This game, Xavier, kudos to them. I mean, I watched this game, full disclosure. Brillion was up 12 at half. I mean, they were up as much as 16 a little bit. It felt like it was out of reach, but this Xavier team, they fought. I mean, they played a phenomenal second half. They played like 6 to 10 minutes with left in the game. They were doing great things. Look, Brillion shot 10 for 16 from 3. I mean, granted, they got a lot of wide open threes. Right, Xavier, of course, their goal was to stop Lorenz, stop Geiger, stop the paint scoring. Right, that's where Brilliant's been so efficient in the paint on those twos. Take away that, but when you take away that, you leave 3-pointers. It's Jeremy Lorenz hit a 3. Geiger was 3 for 4. Mathis 1 for 1. Olsen 2 for 2. And then we had Parker Brown 2 for 5. Owen Kreplin 1 for 2. It was incredible. And then the balance too. Lorenz with 24. Geiger with 21. Brown with 11. Olsen with 11. It was very well balanced attack and phenomenal game again for the Brilliant Lions. Also, Jeremy had 4 blocks, 2 steals. Really, really nice, performance from Brilliant. But again, going back to like that game, like kind of how the game went, the game flow, right? 37-25 at half. Brilliant, it was back and forth in the first half, and then Brilliant goes on a nice little run to end the half, go up 12. Feeling good. Then they kept it, right? I mean, it was like, okay, Brilliant goes up 14, Xavier cuts it to 7. Brilliant goes up 13, Xavier cuts it to maybe 6. And we kind of had that kind of pattern going. No team was having that run to either, just make the game, Brilliant blowout 20 plus, or Xavier wasn't able to just make it like that back and forth. We had that until like the 5-6 minute mark. Then Xavier started just slowly chipping away. Brilliant had a minute long possession. And then the second half, again with like 4 minutes to go, it was like, okay, Brilliant's got this under control. Then what happens? A turnover. Some missed free throws, missed shots. Sure enough, Xavier makes it a game then on the stretch. And again, it was a Xavier broadcast, so if many were watching, there's over actually 1,300 people watching at the end. You might have noticed it was a Xavier broadcast if you haven't yet, but there's some calls at the end that at the crew announcing that certainly didn't like. Hard to speak on that, but again, I thought this game overall was a well officiated game, and I thought it was a very good game nonetheless. I thought it was still a good game, even though, right? I mean, Xavier was it was like a 14 and points they were down, but then they slowly chipped away. They came back. They had some shots to potentially tie the game up. It was exciting in that aspect, but I think what made this game so fun to watch too. I mean, Xavier takes a lot of threes. They took 26 of them. They shot 11 for 26. That's a very good percent, right? I mean, you take 11 for 26. Maybe not if you're a team like Xavier, but when the team shoots 10 for 16 that you're playing, Xavier just has to tip their cap. I feel in some way. Brillion played phenomenal too. I mean, nonetheless, other than the shooting, right? They still played a great game, but when you have the shots falling too, with the team that Brillion has, it was certainly a good thing to see. Again, Alex Sherwood of Xavier, their top guy, double, 14 and 10, 3 blocks. Yeah, and then also Sam Pfeffery had 19 points and 8 assists to go along with that, 2 steals. Otherwise, those are the main guys. They had 3 guys with 7. They got 11, but it was pretty balanced for Xavier. But really, those 2 guys or those 3 or 2 and they had 3 in double digits, but those 2 guys were top in the game here. And it was, they actually have the minutes log for Xavier. Most players play in the mid 20s, high 20s. No minutes for Brillion. I actually haven't seen teams log minutes. So first time I see that all year. But Xavier, they log the minutes for us. So there you go. Brillion continues. They go to state. They get the 2 seed at state. We'll talk about that. Xavier season ends 25-3. So again, congrats to Xavier on a fantastic season. So we'll talk kind of how that matched up. So going to the state game, we'll talk about Division III specifically here. And again, as expected, West Salem gets the 1. My prediction was West Salem 1, Brillion 2, Milwaukee Academy of Science 3, Lakeside Lutheran 4. I was incorrect with the 3 and the 4 spots. You switch them around, that gives you it. So what you have is on Thursday, March 16th, West Salem 27-1 is going to play at Milwaukee Academy of Science, who is 18. They're 18-6. They're independent, by the way. They're not in a conference. I believe West Salem's from the Cooley Conference. Then we have Brillion and Lakeside Lutheran. And that game, and then they are 25-3 in that one. So again, Brillion has that matchup. Let's see if they have it. Do they have that game up yet? Where we can preview. They don't have it up yet on Wiz Sports, so you can check that out. If you're looking for any of the scores, any of the information, always check out Wiz Sports on that. But I'll get up the Lakeside Lutheran here. So again, they're in the Capital North Conference. Again, Lakeside Lutheran 25-3 in Division III. They're led by Levi Burkholz, who's averaging 22 points a game, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. And again, this team's coming from the Capital North Conference. And we can kind of talk, if there's any common opponents, I love to hammer that out, or any notable wins here. Again, they played a lot of Milwaukee area schools and some non-con. They played an Illinois school. They lost by 4 in that one. New Trier, Illinois. Again, they come from a different part of the state, so I don't think actually any common opponents for either team here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but sometimes you'll see an EWC team play Lake Mills, which they did. They beat them by 6. I don't know much about Lakeside Lutheran. We do know Burkholz is their best player, Levi Burkholz of, again, Lakeside Lutheran. And again, not really many common opponents. I can kind of break down. They made 78 threes this year. Doesn't sound like a lot. I don't know if that's up to date either, but think about that, over 28 games, that's like 3 a game only. So I wonder if that's truly up there. Averaging 60 a game. But again, they only won by 3 in their sectional final against Edgewood. So keep that in mind. They were in a close sectional. That was in Oregon, Wisconsin. Home of Shaka Smart also. So looking forward to that. Like I said, Lutheran again. And they will play the winner of the Milwaukee Academy of Science West Salem game. That'll be a good one. Both those games will be good in D3. Looking forward to watching those. That's going to, again, wrap it up here for the EWC talk. Special thanks to, again, WisSports.net. They're linked down below. Check them out for all of your high school sports scores and rosters and all that information you need. Check out WisSports.net. Let's roll. Milwaukee Bucks, 48-19, first in the Eastern Conference. Love to see it. Disappointing loss on Saturday, which I hate to start on such a bitter note, but it was really, it was an upsetting game. Lopez been the leading scorer. Giannis was out in that one. Okay, taking that team to overtime. It's fine, right? I mean, you win by 5 on Thursday. You win in Orlando by 11. Lopez again having another big game. He had that 9-block game though. That was incredible. Right? I mean, I know Jaren Jackson Jr. I know the hype for him for defensive player. It's real. It's fine. But really, I mean, what Brook Lopez has done for, again, one of the best teams in basketball. I think he brings a good case. So what I'm looking forward to tonight, though, 9:00 game out in Sacramento. So 42 minutes from now, and I'll be watching. They play Sacramento. They have not so great back-to-back. They play Phoenix tomorrow night now at 9. So again, that West Coast trip that we all love. They're on part 2 of it out of 3. Game 2 of 3, Sacramento tonight. Phoenix tomorrow night. Home against Indiana on Thursday. I'm going to try to go to that one. And then next Sunday, or on Sunday, they're against Toronto. So that's what it's looking like these next few games here. Almost the season's done. Last game Sunday, April 9th. They close out in Toronto, keep in mind. So love what I've seen from the Bucks. Want to see Giannis back in there. And again, guys like Lopez and Portis have stepped up in these games, and Holiday also. But especially Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis are the main two, right? Portis puts up 28 against Brooklyn also. So good stuff from them. And again, I'll give you the standings reports. Also up again after Sports Crew, my Bucks prediction challenge is up on whether you're looking at TikTok, YouTube, or Instagram. You can find it all there. What I think is going to happen this week. I do have the Bucks losing one game this week, tomorrow night on the back-to-back. But the standings, again, they're up 1.5 games over Boston, 3 games over Philly, 6.5 over Cleveland. And that's for the division, keep in mind. So looking good, looking like another Central Division title. I know we don't care about divisions in basketball. I still want to mention it. Then we're gonna move right away from the Bucks because, right, I mean, we talked a lot about Milwaukee recently, about Milwaukee Bucks. I want to go to the Milwaukee Brewers. So World Baseball Classic's going on right now, right? I mean, they scrimmaged Great Britain's team last week, or not really scrimmaged. They played them in a game. It was an exhibition game. They went 8-2. That Brewers team did. But again, hopefully Team USA can win tonight. They lose in Mexico yesterday, but we're here to talk about the Brewers. And full disclosure, recorded yesterday with Justin Brenner of the UWM Post. Brewers season preview for 2023. That's on YouTube right now if you want to go listen. Otherwise, it'll be out next week officially for it'll be out everywhere on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, right? Again, I'll be on a week trip, study abroad trip. So I will be out of town, and I do have episodes coming your way still. I'll talk about that near the end here. Don't worry, there'll be multiple episodes. Like I'm talking 3 to 4 next week. So you'll still hear my voice. But again, going through the schedule for the Brewers, the games that we have, again, they win today 8-0 over the Reds. And then the games we have the rest of this week, we have split squad. We played the Diamondbacks split squad. That game's on Bally Sports at 8:40 Central. Wow. Okay, 8:40 p.m. Central. They play the Diamondbacks, a night game there. And then with the Angels, we have a 3:10 game. That's also on Bally Sports. And then on Friday, That game's on Brewers Radio Network or 620 WTMJ. Bally Sports on Saturday against the Padres. Bally Sports on Sunday. So we're getting there. We're close. More games on TV. Well, like, was that 4 games on TV this week? I mean, you'll love to see it. And we're getting very, very close to that time. March 30th. Thursday, March 30th, the home opener against the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs home opener. But opening day. Home opener for us is that Monday, which I will be there. But again, I talked all about what we saw in terms of stats so far for the Brewers. I mean, Mike Brosseau has been the hottest hitter on the team so far in spring, 9 for 19 with 4 home runs already. Garrett Mitchell and Rowdy Tellez is playing with Team Mexico. So he again has 3 home runs with the team, 5 for 12. Mitchell's 6 for 18 with 3 home runs. Yelich has looked good too in spring, 6 for 18 and 2 home runs. And there's some guys with some slow starts. I mean, I highlighted Willy Adames is 1, Luis Urias, Blake Perkins were kind of the main ones, from guys who are notable. William Contreras has been all right, 7 for 26. No home runs yet, though. So we're waiting on that from Contreras. But overall, I've been content with what we've seen, at least from the Brewers hitters so far. In terms of pitching, it's been all right. I mean, Burns, 3.86 ERA. Not again, take it with a grain of salt, right? Four earned runs so far. Whip's been fine. Average against has been fine. There's been some other guys who have maybe struggled a little bit, like Robert Gasser, Ethan Small. Woodruff's looked phenomenal. Woodruff has probably looked the best this spring. Hasn't given up a run 5 innings. I was talking about a big Brandon Woodruff fan in 2023 for sure. Lauer's had a rough spring. There's been some guys, but again, not too worried about those established big leaguers. So those are the main things here at the sports side. Announcement side. So again, I'll go through schedule this week. We're going to be recording 2 episodes of Journey Million this week. One will again air for the listening audience next week, but it'll be on the video here. Again, it'll be Wednesday, Thursday, and we'll have that up next. It'll be up next Sunday or Monday or so for again the listening audience, and we'll be talking about more information that's not going to be just about free agents this week. So it won't be a week late. It's not going to be like that. We have some fun stuff planned, some games, some draft information stuff. But on Wednesday, we'll be bringing an episode this week, which we'll be talking all about the free agency signings that have happened the last few days. A lot of them. We'll be talking about them. We'll be talking about our favorites. We'll be talking about winners, losers, all that good stuff. And again, Thursday, we'll be having Zoe from ZLM Football coming on with us. That episode will also be at 4:15. And that, again, like I said, listening audience next week, but trust me, it's not going to be just late news. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. We'll be playing games and we'll be talking football, right? We'll be talking about the sport everybody loves. So then on Friday, I guess to round it out, I'll be previewing a basketball slate before I leave for my trip next week. Again, I have you covered. I actually had Ryan Borkart on, WIA licensed referee. If you have not heard or noticed, there's a huge referee shortage in the state of Wisconsin. We actually dug into it. We were looking at why this is happening, how it happened, how can we fix this problem, and kind of just some of his stories about what's going on. And again, he's a certified official. He's been doing it for years. He's reffing games, varsity games left and right. So he's kind of seen it. He's talked with the guys. He's been around. So he kind of really helped put it in perspective again for myself and hopefully for the audience here. But that episode will be live next week as well. Justin Brenner again came on, talked Brewers baseball with me. Again, in that one, it's more about, the season as a whole. It's not going to be late news on what's happening in the World Baseball Classic or spring training. Really looking at what's going to happen with this roster, kind of predicting that lineup, predictions, just overall, talking talking Brewers baseball more specifically. And yeah, then we'll have those episodes up, or all those episodes up here, and then That's going to wrap it up here at Drew Sports Crew, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. March Madness, that was the other thing I was going to mention. My apologies. $5 again. Check that out and message me at Drew Sports Crew or at Drew Skyberg if interested. That's going to wrap it up here for myself, Drew Skyberg, here on this Monday night. Thank you all for listening to another episode of Drew Sports Crew, the perfect podcast for you.